Hi, so today we are going to look at adding media assets or media items to your Mukurtu site. So I'm just looking here at the demo community that I created earlier for this series of videos. I've already logged in, so the easiest way to add some media is to go to your dashboard. That link is always going to be in the top right corner of your page if you're logged in. And like I mentioned in an earlier video, you can always rearrange these boxes on the dashboard if you want. To save some time, since it's something I do a lot of, I added the content and collections box up to the top of the page because I know that I need to add some media. So one of the buttons here is add media. I'm just going to go ahead and click on that. Now it's going to prompt you to create your media atom, and an atom, I know earlier I said media asset and create media, and now it's asking me to create an atom. An atom is basically a file or a kernel of information that you've uploaded to the site. It's interchangeable with the term media asset or media item for the most part. Don't worry about that too much. We can get into the details of that in a future video if people are interested. All right, right now I'm going to upload an image, but you see that we can add an audio file, a video file, an image file, an audio file, a document file, an image file, or a video file. I'm going to add an image for now. So just clicking on image here, and it brings me to the next step in the create atom screen. First thing you need to do is add a file. You can either drag and drop from your desktop or click on add files down here and use your built-in Finder or Explorer browser to do that. It does give you, you'll notice, the allowed file type. So for an image, I can upload either extension of JPEG, a PNG, or a GIF. So I've already got one here ready. And it's a JPEG file. You can see the extension matches one of the supported file types. And then it shows up here in my file name box. You're not done yet. You can add more than one file if you want. So if I wanted to, I could go through and choose another image and add those in. For now, I'm just going to do one, but you can do as many as you need. Next, you have to click Start Upload. Now, this is just taking a moment to do since it's a pretty big file. And you can see when it's done that I get status 100% and a little checkbox over on the right side of the screen. Now that's going to show up for each file if you have multiple ones. You have to wait for them all to be at 100% with that little checkbox and the final status at the bottom to show up as 100% as well. That's really important. If you don't wait for that to happen, the step's not going to go through properly. I'm just going to add a little bit of descriptive metadata as well here. You're prompted to add information for an author. I created this, or I took this photo, so I'm just going to fill that in there. And I'm going to leave the tags field empty for the moment. And then you're just going to click continue at the bottom. Next, it's going to bring us to actually a really, really long page where we can add a whole bunch of metadata. So this is metadata that we're going to be adding just to the image file. That means if you use this image file anywhere else on your site, so if this image is being added to more than one digital heritage item, this information is staying with it. You can always view this. We call that embedded metadata. It's embedded right next to or right in the file itself, and it helps provide that context in the background and information about how we access and use that image, and it's never stripped away from this file. So it's really good to fill in as much information as you can here as you want. We usually recommend not putting a protocol here, leaving that blank. If you do, it really restricts the places that you can use an image on your site. That being said, if it is a very sensitive material, you may want to add that to a strict protocol that you're a member of. You're only going to be prompted when you click on the little drop-down box here to add protocols which you have access to manage, so you can't accidentally add that to something else. Identifier is probably something that's analogous to the identifier system you use on your own computers. I don't actually have a good file management system here, but I'm just going to go MW for my initials underscore 2015 underscore 001. I'm pretending it's the first photo I took this year. You probably have some other identifier system that you're already using, so you can map this back to the files on your local system. So it's really important to keep those links if you have them. It shows the image I've added here. If I wanted to, I could remove it. You have the option to add some other image types. You could add a digital negative, an archival TIFF, a higher resolution JPEG. If you add more files here, they're not going to be automatically displayed when you use this media item. but they will be accessible on the back end for the site management to access. So you can use that as sort of a supplementary archival system if you have the storage to add some of these higher resolution photos. It's not mandatory. I'm not adding any more at this point. You can include the date it was taken. This was the date I took this photo in early February, and about the time it was taken as well. Creator, I'm going to add this again. In this case, I'm doing myself as the creator and the author. It's ambiguous as to how you use that. I don't really want to add a headline or a caption. I'm going to add a brief description. This photo was taken while snowshoeing just east of Mount Baker. Just a little information about the photo. Again, this is information that's going to be stuck with this photo at all times whenever it's used on the site. For keyword, I'm going to call that landscape for the moment. Oh, and it looks like I've already used that on the site before. You can add in some geolocation information. So if you know the latitude and longitude of where the photo is taken, you can include that here. A caution about that, if it's sensitive content, you might not want to include the very accurate geocode information. That could present an issue if it's a site that you want to keep private. I am going to include a little more information saying Mount Baker. I'm going to leave the rights field blank for the moment, but you can include an extended commentary about the rights, who owns the photo, the history behind it, the source, the access, who can use it. I am going to add a Creative Commons license. There's a little drop-down menu here. I'm going to say people can edit the photo, but they have to share it with an open sharing protocol. We can go into these in a future video if people are interested. And I'm going to add it to the landscapes category as well. Just for fun, again, this is all the embedded metadata on the image. So if you wanted, you could leave this all blank except for the title. So you could just have a title and have none of this other information. But I've added a little bit more because I want to show you guys what embedded metadata looks like a little bit later. You can go ahead and click Finish. And there we go, I've got a little confirmation. The AdamMountBaker.jpg of type image has been created. So my photo has been added to the site. Now, if I need to, I could delete it. You always have that option. I could also edit it. If I click on edit, it'll take me back into that same screen we were just looking at. So you can always update, redact, change, modify the information as needed. But now this image is ready to be used anywhere on my site. It can be used in digital heritage items. It can be used for thumbnails, banners of communities and protocols. If I click on it here, it's going to give me the expanded, the full image. And actually, this isn't even full size. I can zoom in and really get that high resolution, or not so high resolution in this case because it's a small camera. But like I was just showing, you can actually view the image right here. And if I was to download the image, sort of export it from the site, I would retain most of that metadata that I entered. So that is basics of creating a media asset on your Mukurtu site. And the next thing we're going to look at is creating a digital heritage item.